Marketer of the day, number 470. You become what you focus on. Words, thoughts, vibrations, the law of attraction, and neuro-linguistic programming with Michael Losier. Hey everyone, we're so glad that you're listening. We're talking right now with Michael Losier, and Michael lives on Canada's west coast in Victoria, British Columbia, and he's the author of the best-selling books Law of Attraction, The Science of Attracting More of What You Want and Less of What You Don't, and Law of Connection, The Science of Using NLP to Create Ideal Personal and Professional Relationships. Michael has been on Oprah Winfrey's show, on Sirius XM satellite radio, on all kinds of fun stuff. So we're going to hear all about what Michael's got going on and what we need to hear from him. So how are things with you today, Michael?
Well, you know what? They're good, and I created it that way. So if they weren't good, I would have created it that way too. So let's just say it's good, and it's all my fault.
Well, perfect. Good or bad. And so can you unpack that a little bit? Like, can you kind of tell us, like, I mean, what do we need to know about that sort of topic, about, like, you know, taking ownership and knowing that we're in control of our own destiny and fun stuff like that?
Okay. Well, you know, the word law of attraction, the expression might be new to people, but the experience isn't. You know, anytime we use the word coincidence or serendipity or synchronicity or fate or karma or luck or everything fell into place, I know you and the other listeners have used those before. Whenever we use those expressions, we're really describing evidence of law of attraction. So when I say, hey, Robert, this is such a coincidence. I was just thinking about you yesterday. I could really say, this is so law of attraction. Or when people get that parking space or don't get that parking space, that's law of attraction too. So my point is, we're already experiencing it, and it has a name, and it's called law of attraction. And I can't prove it to anybody. But I can give people some information where they can deliberately use law of attraction. You see, law of attraction is already existing right now, whether we like it or not, or believe it or not, or understand it or not. And everything that we're attracting, whether negative or positive, is because of law of attraction.
Well, great. And just to get everyone caught up before we get to down the road here, can you tell us, for anyone who, like, maybe either hasn't heard of law of attraction, or maybe they heard about things like The Secret and stuff like that, but they haven't really dug deep. Can you tell us, for someone who just is starting from a blank slate, what the heck is this law of attraction thing?
I can do that. Well, you know, we use the word vibe sometimes to describe a mood or a feeling. We might say, wow, that Robert's got a great vibe, or this person has a negative vibe. You know, whenever we use the word vibe, we're describing a mood or a feeling. That's what the word vibe comes from. But the word vibe actually comes from the longer word vibration. So I know it's a little out there, the word vibration, but that's what law of attraction is. It's about vibrations. A vibration is simply a vibe, and a vibe is simply a mood or a feeling. And right now, you and I both have a vibe, even if we're not doing it on purpose. Matter of fact, if we had a handheld vibrational meter reader, we could scan ourselves and find out what our vibe is, because there's only two kinds: negative vibes and positive vibes. And the thoughts that we're thinking, in other words, anything that we're giving attention, energy, and focus to, anything I'm thinking about right now, it's causing me to feel positive or feel negative. Remember, the feeling is the vibe. So when someone's feeling love and joy and bliss and abundance and excess, when they're having those feelings, they're emitting or putting out or sending a positive vibe. And when someone's feeling ticked off and angry and disappointed and guilt and shame and blame and rageful, when they're having those feelings, they're putting off a negative vibe. Matter of fact, when we have a negative vibe, people can feel it around us. Oh, that person's in a bad mood. So a vibe isn't something that we smell or touch or taste. It's something that we feel. And right now, everybody has a vibe. And that vibe is either negative or positive. And it's coming from the thoughts and the words that you're using. So if you're complaining about something, you're sending a negative vibe. If you're worrying about something, you're sending a negative vibe. If you're having negative language and negative thoughts, you're sending a negative vibe. And the key here, Robert, is that you don't even need to be doing it on purpose. Just the thought right now is causing you to send a vibe, and there's not one in the middle. So you're either sending, everybody listening is either sending a negative vibe or a positive vibe. And the question is, how do I know what the vibe is I'm sending? Well, there's two ways to know: by how you feel and by what you're getting. You see, law of attraction is this energy around us. I can't prove it to anybody. It's universal energy, and it has a 2-word job description. I remember when I worked for the Canadian government, I had a job description. It was 17 pages long. And it said, your duties include this and that. It just went on forever. But the 2-word job description for law of attraction is easy. It's 2 words: match, vibrations. What an easy job that is. It's like a robot. Here's a vibration. What do I do with it? Match it. Here's a vibration. What do I do with it? Match it. So law of attraction is this energy, universal energy around us. And right now, it's responding to the vibe that I'm sending. Now, I know our listeners, including me and you, we've known it before. We get up Monday morning, a little bit cranky or irritated, and we get an email and somebody cancels an appointment. And we get ticked off about that. We complain about it. And when we complain about it and when we're ticked off about it, I hate when they cancel appointments. Guess what? I'm sending the vibration of canceling appointments. And what's law of attraction do? It matches it. So what happens in another hour? I get another cancellation. And then I say, what is going on? This is the 3rd cancellation today. Well, you're on a roll, and it's called a vibrational roll. Whatever you're getting is law of attraction matching and responding to the vibration. That's why negative things happen over and over and over and over again to people. That's why the day gets worse and worse and worse, because law of attraction isn't very smart. It doesn't know if you want that experience or not, or whether it's good or bad for you or not, or whether it's looking at the job. Hey, what am I supposed to do with this vibe? I don't know. Check the job description. Oh, match it. It doesn't know whether it's good or bad. It's obedient. So if you're curious and you want to know what the vibe is that you're sending in any area of your life, take a look and see what you're getting. It's a perfect match. You want to know the vibes you're sending about money? Open your wallet. You want to know the vibes you're sending about finding that job? How's that working for you? You want to know the vibes that you're sending about getting a boyfriend or girlfriend? Whatever you're getting is responding to the vibe that you're sending. You see, a lot of people give the universe a lot of credit, thinking the universe is going to figure it out for them. The universe is not a figure-outer. It's a matcher. So, oh, the universe is testing me. No, it's not. It's matching your vibrations. Now, you opened up with asking me to explain about accountability. This will sum up what we talked about. The word accountability has 2 words. I'm going to quiz you on this, Robert. So,
better pay attention, right?
That's right. The word responsive or accountability has 2 words buried within it. What's one of them?
Account.
And what's the other one?
Ability.
That's right. So our accountability is our ability to account for why we're attracting what we're attracting. This is what full accountability. When you can look at something and say, hey, look at me, I got another great parking space. I got 2 more excellent clients this week. You know why? I put the vibe out there. I always get a parking space. I always brag about getting parking space. I always brag about having, and we'll point at it and we'll say, this is here because of me. I can account for why I got the parking space. I can account for why I got 3 new clients this week. You see how it works when it's positive?
Yeah.
But when it's negative, what do we say? Oh, why is that happening to me? Why am I attracting these negative things over and over and over again? I know it's a big pill to swallow, but I want everyone to be able to look at something that positive they attract and say, hey, look at me. This is here because of my vibe. And then when something negative happens, I want them to look at it and say, hey, look at me. This is here because of my vibe. You see, you don't have to like what you're attracting, but you have to own it. And the best news of all is that we have the ability to reset the results that we're getting if we don't like them. Say, oh, I don't like the results I'm getting around trying to find a job. I don't like the results I'm having about finding a boyfriend or girlfriend or more money or more clients or customers or I don't like the results that I'm getting there. Robert, are you coming to understand as I complain about what I don't like that I'm giving it more attention?
Sure.
And as I give anything attention, it causes me to send the vibration of that which I said I didn't like. And law of attraction doesn't know whether I want it or don't want it. Now it's busy unfolding and orchestrating to bring me more of what I said I didn't want. I'm sure there's some listeners say this. They attract something they don't want, and they'll say this. Well, that's exactly what I said I didn't want. I've been saying all week I didn't want that. And if law of attraction had a voice, it would say, yeah, I know. You gave it attention and energy all week. I'm not a decider. I'm a matcher. You see, law of attraction is like Google. If you go to Google and type in what you want, what will you get? You get what you typed in. If you go to Google and type in what you don't want, if you go to Google and type in no football, what will show up in Google? Football. Why? Because Google strips away the words don't, not, and no. Every time you use the word don't, not, and no, you just brought attention to what you didn't want to bring attention to. Don't forget your homework. Oh, I just gave attention to forgetting homework. Well, don't be disappointed. Oh, I just gave you attention to be disappointed. I don't want my clients to cancel. I just gave that attention. I don't want this to be difficult. Don't drink and drive. Don't have sex. Don't do drugs. Don't slam the door. Don't spill your milk. Don't beat up your brother. Don't leave your... You see what my point here?
Yeah, don't think about the green elephant. Don't think about the polar bear drinking a glass of Coca-Cola.
That's right. And and people need to be more conscious of their emails. Don't hesitate to contact me. See how they gave attention to hesitation?
You won't regret this.
Yeah, you won't regret. Here's my favorite one. This is not a scam. It's like, well, I didn't think it was until you brought it up.
Well, sign up here. We'll never spam you.
That's right. Yeah, we never sell our databases. Now, maybe they don't, but now they gave it attention. Or, don't you love it when your doctor puts on the rubber glove and says, this won't hurt? It's like, I didn't think it was going to, but now that you brought it up. Here's the point that I'm making, and I want people to take notes. Matter of fact, I want them to, if they can, and they're not driving the car, draw a circle the size of a golf ball. And inside the circle, I want you to write the words don't, not, and no. And now draw the international do not use symbol, like a no smoking symbol. You see, every time you use the word don't, not, and no, now you're thinking about what you don't want. And when you think about what you don't want, it causes you to give attention to what you don't want. And when you give attention to what you don't want, it causes you to send the vibration of what you don't want. And guess what? Law of attraction's in your office. It's in your bedroom. It's in your car. It, being energy, is responding to what you give your attention. But here's how I'm going to help everybody with that. Every time you use the word don't, not, and no. See what I'm doing right now, Robert, is I'm brainwashing people. I'm going to wash their brain of the things that are causing them to attract negative things. Say yes if you're in.
Yes.
Okay. So here's the reset. Remember I said how you could reset your results?
Sure.
If you want to reset your negative results, then you need to reset your vibe. And if you want to reset your vibe, then you need to reset what you're talking about. And the way you reset what you're talking about is you eliminate the words don't, not, and no. I'm going to give you an example. Well, first I'm going to give you the reset sentence. So underneath the circle with the don't, not, and no with the line through it, here's the reset sentence. So what do I want? So say, for example, you and I are having a conversation. Robert said, hey, Robert, don't forget to call me. And my little voice says, hey, Michael, you just said don't forget. So what do you want? I would say, Robert, remember to call me.
Okay.
Don't beat up your brother. Oh, I just said don't beat up the kids, right? So what do I want? Play nice with your brother. Don't spill your milk. Oh, I just said don't spill your milk. What do I want? Drink your milk carefully. You won't be disappointed. So what do I want? You'll likely be excited. Don't hesitate to contact me. Contact me when it works for you. Every sentence in the whole wide world that has the word don't, not, and no can be reframed. Even a sign that says don't park here could say, park over there. No entry could say, exit only. Every sentence that uses the word don't, not, and no can be reframed and relanguaged. And here's what happens. When you go from what you don't want to what you do want, the words change. And when the words change, your thoughts change. And when your thoughts change, your vibration changes. And you can only have one vibration at a time. And now law of attraction is obediently unfolding and orchestrating to deliver you whatever you're giving attention to. So that is how you reset negative results to positive rights. That is everybody's homework. And over the next couple of days, people are going to be very surprised how often they use the word don't, not, and no. Say, what? Most people use it 100 times before noon, and they wonder why their life's falling apart. But now you're going to hear my voice in your head say, so what do I want? And that's how you reset your results, by eliminating and reducing the words don't, not, and no.
Crazy, Neff. Well, that was a bunch of powerful stuff so far in our conversation. And what I like the best about it, especially these last few minutes of it, is that there's all these different ways to apply it, right? There's ways to apply it on the inside as far as how we feel, on the outside as far as just day-to-day personal connections, and even in our business. And you mentioned, and that last little exercise there about eliminating the no's, the don'ts. I mean, that's huge. And what you're making me think back to, which I hadn't even thought back to in about 10 years, is I used to have that problem, but I didn't realize how bad it was because, we live our day-to-day lives in a certain way. We don't really see like those patterns that we've been stuck in. But I got that advice once about just notice how many times you say the word don't just to start off, even ignoring not and no, but just how many times you use don't. And someone gave me the advice of to go to one of my web pages, one of my landing pages, sales letters, and to do a search for how many times the word don't appeared. And it was almost every sentence. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, there we go. I'm using it again, right? Like I couldn't believe, I was in disbelief, I guess. So I did the search and it was like almost every sentence had a don't in there. And it was really easy to just clean that up. And then the result was it was way more positive. It flowed better. It was more concise, just everything about it from just that one simple tweak of just noticing this previously invisible don't that was just all over the place.
Yes. It's funny when I recently hired a graphic, well, not recently, about a year ago, I hired a new graphic guy. And I would acknowledge him when he did something. He'd write back, no worries. Yeah, no problem. And I said, so am I a problem and are you worried? And he says, no, not at all.
Oh,
Every time he does that, I email him a little graphic with the don't, not, and no. And I call myself the don't, not, and no police. And I haven't heard him use the word don't, not, and no probably. And he's got 3 young kids. And he said he put it on his fridge, because imagine with children, right? Don't touch the stove. Don't forget your homework. Don't spill your milk. Don't leave your clothes on the floor. Don't talk back to your mother. Like, don't. And then there's all the other times, Robert, you hear people say, oh, you got to be more positive. You got to be more positive. And then you ask them how. You know what they say? Well, just be more positive. Well, that doesn't help somebody become more positive. The best way to become more positive is to eliminate the words don't, not, and no. People that are negative are using the word don't, not, and no. People that worry are using the word don't, not, and no. People that are complaining are using the word don't, not, and no. So everybody's homework between now and the rest of their life is every time they use the word don't, not, and no, ask yourself the question, so what do I want? Also, you're going to train your brain. Even when you're typing a letter and you go to use the word don't, not, and no, hear my voice in your head say backspace, backspace, back. There's another way to say that. There's another way to say don't hesitate to contact me. This is not a scam. Don't worry. You won't be disappointed. There's other ways to say that.
Well, great. And that's a great starting point and a great thing for people to do moving forward. And one thing that I've always wanted to know about this law of attraction, well, first of all, like you cleared up a lot of the confusion because like I haven't really looked too deep into the law of attraction stuff, but just the things that you hear, the things that people teach, the things that come around. And that if you cleared up a lot by just that making the point that the law of attraction only understands positive and negative. And sometimes they hear about people saying things like, well, I'll make a dream board and I'll put a picture of a Ferrari on there or something silly like that. Or some people say things like, well, if I just think good thoughts, then, if I'm bald, I'll regrow my hair. If I think good thoughts, I'll win the lottery. And so, I mean, what do you have to say if someone kind of makes those generalities like that?
Well, let's just talk about a dream board. And somebody puts on their dream board. I want to have a big car and a big house and an awesome partner, and I want to make lots of money. I want everyone to hear this. Law of attraction isn't responding to your dream board. It's responding to how you feel about your dream board. So if you look at your dream board, which is all the things that you don't have, what might somebody tell themselves looking at the Ferrari and the big swimming pool and the hot guy or the hot girl or the big bankroll? You know what they're saying? Well, I'll never have that. That'll never happen to me. So I'm not a big dream board guy.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm not a big dream board guy because same with affirmations. Affirmations, we say them to state as if we have it. People say, my bank account's overflowing. Well, that's a positive sentence. But guess what? It doesn't feel positive. Most people say, "Oh, my bank account's horrible right now. I'm not making any money." I'm going to say this sentence again. Law of attraction isn't responding to your dream board. It's responding to how you feel about your dream board. Law of attraction isn't responding to your affirmation. It's responding to how you feel about your affirmation. So the more you tell yourself that you have something when you don't, people are smart enough to say, well, I'd like it, but I don't really have that. So that's what's important here.
Interesting. So if we have those dreams, but we don't take them seriously, or we set up like that those big huge goals, but we still look at it in a negative light, or in terms of lacking, or in terms of I'll never have that, then by not having that belief, then it'll work against us.
That's right. Well, in my book, I talk about why affirmations don't work for most people. We just explained it because you're asking for something that you want and you don't believe it. I'm a big guy, right? And I remember years ago, I had an affirmation that said, I have a happy, slender body. And you know what my brain said? You do not. Look how big you are. So now, even though I'm reading a positive sentence, I'm not sending a positive vibe. This is important. The words were not congruent with the feelings. And now I'm sending a positive vibe about that. Sorry, a negative vibe. And that's what law of attraction is responding to. So I'm going to tell people how to correct that. Part of my background is NLP, it stands for Neuro Linguistic Programming. So I'm all about the words. I don't ask people to visualize. I don't ask people to make collages. I don't ask them to make dream boards. If that helps, do it. But in most cases, it doesn't. It's all about the words. Even when we're not saying them out loud, we're still processing the words. So here's people's homework. First, eliminate the words don't, not, and no. And when you use them, ask yourself, so what do I want? And then when you want to desire something, maybe a new job or an ideal interview or a boyfriend or girlfriend or money or career or clients, whatever it is, here's the sentence to say. I'm in the process of attracting my ideal blank line. I'm in the process of attracting my ideal client. I'm in the process of attracting my ideal interview. I'm in the process of attracting my ideal job. You see, in affirmations, they would teach you to say, I have my ideal job. And what would your brain say if you're not employed and you said, I have my ideal job?
You'd say, yeah, right.
Yeah, you don't. And now you're sending a negative vibration. But when you say, I'm in the process of having my ideal job, you feel good about that. You say, you know what? I am in the process. I put a couple of interviews out there. I'm connecting with people. And now law of attraction is responding to the desire. So I tell people, get rid of the affirmations and now make a desire statement. That is a statement about your desire. So what do you want?
So that's an interesting tweak. So is that the reason why that works is because you're saying I'm in the process, not I have this big, huge, unattainable thing?
That's right. Now, for people that are just hearing this for the first time, I'm going to deconstruct the sentence. Now, when I say, for example, I'm having a great podcast interview with you today. After this podcast interview, I'm gonna repeat this in my head and say, wow, I like that. Robert did a good job. He really let me take over and talk a lot about stuff. I helped a lot of people today. Law of attraction is eavesdropping on that conversation. And it doesn't know I'm talking about Robert Plank. What it is doing is picking up on my vibration about a good podcast interview. And now law of attraction is going to unfold and orchestrate to bring me another one. So when we talk about being on a roll, that's how you're on a roll. So you need to celebrate the good things that are happening. And say, for example, this was a disastrous interview. I only had one in my 22 career. I only had one disastrous interview. When I was off the phone, I remember thinking, oh my God. And I went online. I said, oh, I had the worst interview ever. And I thought, what am I doing? I'm giving attention to a disastrous interview. So I deleted it right away. And then I pressed my reset button. I said, well, what would be ideal? So I used the things that I didn't like about that interview to get clear about, he was interviewing me and I don't think I said 5 words in the whole interview. I thought, well, that was not an interview. He would say something and describe it and say, is that true? And I said, yeah, that's true. So he was teaching me. It's like, no, that's not how it works. So after today, I'm going to give attention to this interview and this great tool that I'm helping people with. And guess what? Law of attraction's in my office. I'm going to be in my car. Law of attraction's there too. It's eavesdropping on what I'm giving attention to. So when I say, I'm in the process of attracting an ideal interview like the one I just had with Robert Plank. When I say that I'm in the process of it, just because I gave that attention, I just set the energy in motion. When I said I'm in the process of attracting another great Robert Plank style interview, boom, I just set the energy in motion with my vibration. So the truth is, I am in the process. Do you hear the slight distinction there?
Yeah, yeah. So you're in the process and you're being specific about what you got, and then you want. So you're already taking that small amount of positive action, and you're putting out there that you want more of what you're already doing.
That's right. Now, for our business folks, right? Maybe they're not getting sales, or they're not. They're meeting people for a potential, gig or client or customer or sale, whatever they work on. Before you go to the meeting, most people plant the seed of what they're going to get. Said, "Oh, I'm meeting Buddy today. He's probably not going to like my price. I bet he's going to complain. He's probably another complainer that thinks my fees are too high." On the way to the interview, most people are planting the results with their thoughts and with their words. So here's what I tell the business people on the way to a meeting. Think about the last ideal client that hired you. Because law of attraction doesn't know that you're talking about Robert or Betty or Paul or Suzanne. Thinking, boy, was that Robert ever a great interview? He did this and this and this. And I'm driving in the car, and law of attraction doesn't say, who's Robert? You know what law of attraction is doing? It's responding to how I feel about Robert. Remember, law of attraction is responding to how I feel about what I say and think. So we need to be more deliberate about what we're saying and thinking.
I love it. It's some pretty spooky stuff, but it seems like a lot of it is you become what you focus on, and whether people believe that that's like the universe or their own doing whatever. I mean, you become what you focus on, and so you can either choose to be in a downward spiral of just it's getting worse and worse, or an upward spiral where you're on the right track and you're open to whatever you're heading towards. And this is all really good stuff, but I don't want to go for too long, but I also want to make sure that everyone knows everything there is to know about Mr. Michael. So can you tell us about, I know that we said that you have these 2 books, you have another one coming out, I'm sure lots of other stuff going on. Why don't you hit us with it? Tell us what we need to know.
Okay, well, every Friday for the last 217 Fridays, I do a Facebook Live show. It's all about law of attraction. It's all about NLP. And my 3rd book is called Your Life's Purpose. So today at 9 o'clock Pacific, 12 noon Eastern, I did a show on NLP about the 4 communication styles and how to listen. And I was talking about reducing conflict over the holidays and how to listen to somebody's words they're using so you know what their style is and you can match it with the right words. So that's live. You can go to my website, hangoutwithmichael.com, and you can check out all previous shows that I did. And that's all I want people to do is just use me as a resource to learn about law of attraction, about NLP, and about uncovering your life's purpose. They can get all of that for free on my website.
Super great. So hangoutwithmichael.com. And then can people also find your books from that location as well?
No, I don't sell them from my website. They're all available on Amazon.com or whatever country people are in. They're widely available. My book, Law of Attraction, is published in 37 languages, and I sold 2.8 million copies in 37 countries. So same with my NLP book. The NLP book is available on Kindle or download, and that is the best thing because it's the kind of book you want to refer to. You can't memorize all of it. Like with Law of Attraction, it's all about the processes. You'll learn and memorize those. But the NLP book, I said, oh, you know what? I'm talking to this guy that's very visual or very kinesthetic, or he's a thinker. I better brush up on how to deal with this person the best. And then Your Life's Purpose, the book will walks people through a 5-step process so they can uncover what fulfills them. And that's available on Amazon and on digital as well.
Super fantastic. So if you people want to search Amazon to find Michael's books, his last name is Losier. So that's Michael Losier. That's spelled Losier, just to make sure that you can find it. So Michael Losier on Amazon, and then hangoutwithmichael.com if he's piqued your interest about hopping on those Facebook live streams and checking out the back issues and knowing what you need to know about law of attraction. And I really appreciate about your style and what you have to say here, Michael, is that you have kind of both sides of the coin there. Like I said, I've heard a lot of kind of foofy doofy stuff about law of attraction, and none of it was really concrete, and none of it really stuck with me. But you have that side of it, and then you also have the technical, the dirty guts, so to speak, of the neuro linguistic programming stuff, focusing on matching and mirroring their language or their style or things like that. And so, I mean, this sounds like you have quite a unique way of going about this, and I love it. So make sure you guys go to Michael Losier, and when you search on Amazon, and then hangoutwithmichael.com. Do you have any lasting sentence or like piece of advice to give to people so that it really hangs with them for maybe years to come after listening to this?
I do. And some, people are going to have to write it down. It's only 5 words long. And only people that listen to the whole interview today will get it. I couldn't have started the show out with it because they would have said, what? And I want people to remember this forever. 5 words. I get what I vibrate. I don't always get what I want, but I always get what I vibrate.
Have you heard of Google? How about Google Calendar, Google Drive, or Gmail? Do you struggle mastering these powerful but sometimes scary technologies? Our new book, The Checklist Mindset, makes it simple. It's the next best thing to hiring a full-time virtual assistant. Claim your copy of our book on Kindle at www.checklistmindset.com.